Welcome to Waiting for Game, the new podcast from your friends at Melee Stats. So today we're going to be talking about all things SCL, from the crazy week one results to the results that week 2 is going to have in store for us. But first, an introduction to our lovely panel today. So I am iBDW, tournament seeder and part of the administrative team for the MPGR Top 100. With me is my good friend Edwin Budding, Melee's most dedicated journalist and author of the Book of Melee. And our guest today is iBDW, who people know as one of the greatest Melee players currently playing. How's everyone doing today?
I'm doing great, Wheat.
Chilling, good. A little tired, but that's it.
Yeah, I am with you there, buddy. I'm so excited to talk about everything today because Beyond the Summit is probably one of like the greatest gifts to Melee that has it. And the cool thing is, in 2015, it came around. It was this incredible thing to Melee, and the way they've been able to grow and just like become something new to the scene throughout time is unmatched. So we have another crazy, just like crazy entertaining phenomenon in SCL week 2. So let's get into season 2. So let's get into what we saw in week 1. So I think the first thing that we got to talk about is probably some of the people who we saw qualify through Levo. Definitely not the names that people really, well, one specific name that people didn't think of. So I guess we got to talk about Daki, right? Cody, you are the Fox master here. Let's hear some thoughts on the new young Fox player.
Solid player. Solid player. Very general analysis. There's some lazy punish game things that I didn't like, but for the most part, good ledge dashes, decent understanding of how to play. I remember I watched this set versus SJ, and I thought that he was pretty weak versus Falcon, just in terms of edge guarding, especially. But overall, it seems like he has a pretty decent punish game. He's a pretty grounded Fox, which is different from most of the Fox I see coming up right now, but I think it's completely fine. He doesn't like full hop a lot. That's completely fine. But overall, a very solid player. Seems to have a pretty good game plan for all the characters that I saw. Decent in the Ditto. Looks pretty clean. Very good ledge dashes. I know everyone was making a fuss about that, but pretty accurate. Looks like probably like a top 30-ish, 40-ish caliber. Like, let's say we go back to LAN. I would say that looks like someone who could be like top 40-ish, I would say.
It's nuts. Yeah, he was a little bit of a hidden boss. Someone who really couldn't travel. That was basically his thing. But even then, he was still scoring wins on like Bladewise. So we haven't seen him play a Peach in bracket at like one of the Levos or anything. But who knows, man? I would be so entertained to watch him play Keizu. Edwin, I know you've got some thoughts. Like I see your brain moving there.
Yeah, so I actually wrote a little bit about Daki last month as part of my West Coast preview for the Smash World Tour, and I think everyone knows the like safe picks for the West Coast, but one of the things that really stood out to me looking through like all the players was just how solid Daki's resume was and how good his consistency was. Basically, just in the middle of March, as I was going through all the regional results, everything I saw about Daki just all pointed to this kind of performance. Like, you look at the individual wins, they're good. Like Lucky, Koopa Troopa, Bobby Big Balls, Quaff, Smash Daddy, Meds, Azusa. But like, I think what was most impressive about him was that he was just like he wouldn't really like lose to people worse than him, and he would just continuously like go even with or go even slightly positive on everyone I would have expected him to beat or to be competitive with them.
Which,
so I was wondering, like, going through. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was gonna say, sorry. When we would do rankings, that was something that we looked for the new players.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the number one thing for an 80 to 90 level player that I personally loved. Like we really liked Panda way back when, because what he did was he didn't have like breakout wins before he beat Axe, but he would just consistently beat like Master or Bladewise or people from Florida. And that's what Daki has. You're right. Like consistent wins against your tier is so important to me for establishing just like a consistent player and one who might not be the first one to get that like huge upset, but would be the one to have continued success.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a, if this person is beating all these people that you would have considered to be around his skill level and he's not losing to them, it reaches a certain point where you have to change your internalization of how, or your conceptualization of how you see them. And Daki was one of those players who I think, for many people, they might have seen him as borderline top 100. I know Deep Fox around early 2020 tried to convince me that Daki was a hidden boss at Genesis, which I thought was very funny because we had been following Daki for a while. But I think he's reached that point where, like, if he's not on this, like, for my column preview, I had him in the same tier as Albert and Fat Goku, which I think
Damn.
for many people would have seemed like it would have seemed a bit ludicrous if they weren't that familiar with his results. But I think he's absolutely at least within this tier of play, and I can't wait to see what more is in store for him moving forward.
For
I'd
sure.
say he's definitely like slightly worse than them, but it's not unreasonable to put him around the same. Like I wouldn't if someone was like, oh, it's like Fat Goku and Albert, and then like the next tier down is like Daki, or like bottom of that tier, and they're top of one tier, then I don't think that's unreasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, Albert and Fat Goku have been around for a while, so I'm inclined to think that like those two would probably have the advantage over him right now, just out of certainty. But I think
Yeah.
Daki's trending very upward, and he looks around that like competitive with them for sure.
Yeah. Is there anyone else from the qualifier from Levo who like really stood out to us? I know that Neologism from Ontario, like, dude, top 8. I was not able to watch Levo until top 8 because I was working. Melee stat or patreon.com/melee stats. if you want to stop that, stop me working. But I was only able to catch top 8, and I only got to see him get like really clowned on by Kobol, which is very funny. Kobol is such a nice, mild-mannered player, and I saw him play like dirty versus this guy.
Kobol's a dirty player. Kobol goes for crazy crap on everyone.
It was very mean to watch, but I enjoyed it. I love Kobol. But what did you think of his run beforehand? He had a couple really solid like up and coming wins.
He caught my attention when he beat Hacks, and I know that's just
that'll do that, right?
When did he beat Hex?
I want to say he beat him at 4 Loco.
Oh wait, yeah, I remember that happening. Hax has a problem with. Okay, Hax is kind of sucks online. His playstyle definitely gets nerfed by like online, just the way it works. That happens for some people more than others. But he's particularly had like Falco problems online. Like every time I've seen him versus Falco, he's just looked enormously uncomfortable. Like he doesn't know what's going on anymore. It's very jarring to see, actually. But Neologism, I played him. He's a solid Falco. He like not bad at all. He needs to work on a few things, but he's like good.
He beat Panda and Dreffen.
I'm honestly more impressed with the Dreffen win. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I don't know how many young Falcos tend to beat Dreffen. I think that was one of Bobby's first wins that like really made me think that Bobby Big Balls is anything like to really write home about. I think that was at Pound. It was either Pound 2019 or Pound Underground in 2018.
He beat Moki in May, really?
Oh, was that this was the Moki from like 2020, right? The 2020 Slippy Moki, the Hank losing Moki.
Yeah.
I love Moki, but if we can pretend like 2020 didn't exist for him, I mean, we're all going to pretend in the world that 2020 didn't exist, but specifically for him online, like that's the best way to approach him. So yeah, I mean, speaking of Moki, do you guys want to get into what we saw in week 1, like the actual matches? Because Moki was probably the most controversial person to be in Div 2. And as we saw, he earned his spot in Div 1. And along with that, like every other weird, crazy result also happened to happen. Like what a wild Melee stats like loving week of Melee that we got. What stood out to you guys from the week 1?
You can go first.
I loved the Aklo Kalamazoo set. That was high key one of the. If it weren't for all the other 6 sets during the week, that was one of my favorites to watch. Aklo, it was close. Came down to the last stock. It even featured an Aklo Link game on FD, with Keizu just barely clutching it out. I thought that was incredibly fun to watch. And I mentioned it earlier in the year, but Keizu's been on a bit of a tear lately. He's
Keizu
just
became
been
the
super
best Peach
impressive.
so quickly that, or like so gradually that I don't think anyone noticed. It's so wild how like weirdly consistent his results have been, and just like up and up and up, like ticking up gradually.
He was a
Cody,
stock
I
away
won't
from
make you
being.
talk about how he beat you. I won't make you bring that up.
Yeah, he was a stock
That
away
that
from
set
being.
legitimately spiked to 400 ping. I actually don't even mentally count that set. I almost never. I don't. So I think most people know me. I don't complain about online results at all. That set I will complain about to the grave. That was literally 400 ping, and I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do against this.
Do we gotta set up a salty sweet when we get events back?
Keizu is very good versus Fox. Honestly, the best Peach versus Fox, even when Triff's in form. And Lot's
Damn.
actually pretty bad versus Fox. Yeah, no, I
That's a
think
hot take.
no, Keizu's actually phenomenal versus Fox. But that set was just not to say he couldn't have won, but I just cannot, for my own sanity, count that set because it was so bizarre.
Dude, we got to put an Ices in Keizu's path.
Oh my god, he get
Oh, doesn't he?
wrecked.
Yeah, didn't he lose like every ice climber for like 3 years?
He
Yeah,
did. It was.
I think you could put like fluid or something there, and I'd be more scared than if he played like Fat Goku or something. No, not
It's
Fat
among
Goku.
the
Any other
among the
Fox player.
strangest things.
I don't get it. We need to send him to a therapist or something. There must be something deeper, something at the root of this.
I feel like we're kind of bearing the lead for notable results without mentioning Plup coming back.
Yeah,
right. I feel like that should be pretty noteworthy, right?
a triumphant return in the real triumphant return, not like the not the triumphant returns that we've seen, but like a real triumphant return where he won Levo and did it with like almost all Sheik, especially because he's dabbled with playing more and more Fox, especially closer to the like online era. So to do this with like mainly Sheik was definitely a statement. And then comes in and happens to run into Godorin. How do we pronounce this?
Godorin.
No, he's a god. That's
I thought
Godorin. Godorin.
Definitely a very funny name. Yeah, I don't know. I think I maybe this is naivete on my part, but when he 3-0'd or 3-1 or 3-0'd Gatsu at Levo, I thought like, oh my god, there was a part of me for a second that thought, oh my god, nothing's changed. Like Plup is still like amazing. Like I really thought Gatsu was like, maybe would take a set, but man, Plup beat him so bad. Like Plup is going to destroy everyone at SCL that he plays and prove himself that he's in like the top tier or whatever. Like I was genuinely surprised at how solidly he thumped everyone at Levo. Maybe I just forgot about how good Plup was.
I think that so I watched most of Levo. He was definitely still off. Like, I know he was complaining about his controller, and I could see it in his play. Even when he beat Gatsu, I think he beat Gatsu that badly more because he was like a comfort thing for him because they've played so many sets. Obviously, he's probably really familiar with Gatsu's play style. And it was still clear that something was off when I saw him play. He was missing a lot. Like, normally his movement is what separates him from like everything else, from like a lot of other Sheiks. And the quickness, when he tried to move really quick, he stuttered a lot. Like, there was a lot of stuttering in his movement. He would get caught in his movement a lot, and I'm not used to seeing that from him. And he did say that a lot of connections were lagging. There was a bad controller, and I 100% believe that because the play reflected it. I mean, I could see just watching him that, okay, yeah, you're still good. Like, that was bad Plup, and bad Plup's still good enough to literally body everyone at Levo. But you play that badly. If someone who's even okay, decent or like top 30ish runs into you and they're playing really well, they're going to beat that level of play. And that's kind of just what happened in Levo, which not really his fault. He doesn't have a functioning controller, but unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, that type of stuff speaks to the quality of the player who made the upset, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can have Mango playing on a bad day and put him through bracket, and he can do super well still. But if you have someone who's able to capitalize on that, then you got to give props.
Yeah.
I think of it like if Plup's play can like dip down to here, but he's like always up here.
Mm-hmm.
And if Kadoran plays up here, but he can dip to here, it's right in the same range. Like, what do we see from Kadoran going on though? Like, I have continually thought, as much as I love him, I was like, this has to end, right? This has to end. He's not the next top 15, top 10 player, right? But dude, his results, every time I think he's going to lose, he just manages to scrape it out. So I don't really know what the future is going to hold for this guy.
He needs to speed up. That's the biggest thing. He's a very, very smart player who has a lot of really good ideas, but literally does not have the speed to combat with, like, especially a really good Spacey right now. Maybe I think he can get away with it more versus Falco just because of the way the matchup works. But against like a good Fox, I think like any Fox that plays well, he's just gonna get ran over right now. That's what I saw from like SFAT wasn't even playing super fast and still ran him over really, really badly. And so I'm wondering, like, you get any crackhead Fox, like Panda playing well, I think would give Kador like a literal nightmare. You get that type of Fox, and I need to see a little more speed from him. I need to see a little more speed to see that he's going to play like Plup when Plup's at his form. Not to take away from his win, because it's like, I don't care if someone's playing well or bad. Like, if you beat someone, you beat them. Good stuff. It's more a reflection on you than it is a negative reflection on them. But for me, from what I see from their play, I need to see a little faster decision making. I need to see more comfort playing in like scrambles. I need to see a faster play. But I think he definitely could beat top 20, especially if he gets all that stuff figured out ASAP.
Does he beat Android Zero right now? That's the big question.
That dude's a robot.
Edwin and I are convinced that Android Zero is the best player in the world.
The greatest player of all time.
Even when he gets like
Unstoppable.
13th at stuff, I'm like, oh well, the best player in the world got 13th. How about that?
He's
kind of crazy.
His name fits him.
I think once I saw him like 4-0 NMW in a 3-0, I was like, damn, all right, this kid's for real.
MW's good.
Dude, I think Kadorn's matchup spread is so interesting. You remember around when he was getting good, like when he started turning the corner on Squid and even taking sets from face roll, the players in SoCal that would actually give him problems were people like Null, and his Fox matchup was one that he wasn't like as caught up in as some of his other ones.
Yeah.
Not much has changed. And I played him pretty recently in bracket, and he took a game, but the next 3 games, I was just like, I'm turning my brain off and just running at you. And it was just not close. Like, I did not feel like I had to try. And again, that's the way it should be for a lot of things, but you need to be able to get past that for me to be confident that you're going to consistently beat top spaces. And you need to be able to beat top spaces to be top 20, top 15. Like, there's just too many of them.
He did as far as his Falcon matchup goes, he seems to be making a lot of progress on it. I know he actually ended up breaking Gatsu's massive tournament win streak a couple weeks ago or so when he 6-0'd him at TMT.
That's impressive. That's good. Gatsu's really good versus Marth too.
I think S2J is the last one on his hit list out of the active West Coast players. S2J's given him a problem for a while.
Well, I mean, S2J, self-proclaimed third best player in the world.
Anyways, moving on.
That's one of my favorite things about week 2 is that you talk shit week 1, you still got 3 more weeks of it.
Sample size is a bitch, ain't it? Apparently, after 3 tournaments, one of them. Nobody remembers this. This controller, I'm using Z to jump and X to grab.
Oh yeah,
I changed that a month and a half ago.
I know. Just say you're on box, then people will think your results are really good.
True.
Nothing made me like be more impressed by Leffen losing to Pipsqueak than knowing that he was on box. Like, it's so funny how I
impressed by Leffen.
Yeah. I saw him lose, and I was just like, damn, he's so good. Speaking of box players, Hacks, we talked about Hacks. Hacks is he's done. He's out of the week 1. He was invited to Division 2. And now if he wants to get back in, he's gonna have to qualify. So I know that, Cody, you talked about how definitely someone whose playstyle is a little nerfed. He's one of those players who's kind of built on LAN and never really liked online. It was like him and Fiction were huge holdouts until you kind of had to play if you wanted to remain relevant. So I'm not surprised by that. But are any other players who we are surprised to see drop from the World Tour or from SCL altogether? Axe, like
I want to be surprised by Axe, but he hasn't been grinding, and he lost to 2 people who've been entering tournaments every week and are pretty much okay with net play, and I know how much he hates net play. So it's like, I want to be surprised by Axe, but I'm not.
Dude, especially when the tournaments he enters, it's like Ices or Young Link or whatever.
Yeah, like I just, it's kind of like not in a way where it's like you deserve to like just lose everything, but it's like if that's the effort you're gonna put in, you're just gonna lose. That's just how it is. You can't play the game, play one person who I don't even know how good Vector Man is. That's just not how Melee is anymore. You have to play good players all the time to be getting better. And also, Pikachu sucks. Like, I'm sorry if there are any Pikachu fans in the chat. Mango agrees with this. I agree with it. All the top players, for the most part, agree with it. That character's dog. I don't know how he made it work for this long, but CC just invalidates Pikachu. And that's not good if you're going to play against Fox and Falcon.
Yeah, I think he was the last seed in this tournament, not including the people who qualified, of course.
Yeah.
I think in like any other time, and like even months ago, 6 months ago, I think that would have been crazy. But we just have not seen that level of play that we expect from him. Because if we see him, it's like I said, Ices or Young Link, and then when we do see the Pikachu, didn't he lose to did he lose to the real thing at Black Empowerment Melee
Did that
Invitational?
happen?
He lost to Billy Bo Peep and Toussaint.
Yes,
Toussaint
yeah.
destroyed him.
The real thing who ended up winning, who didn't even have to play it. Yeah, that I remember that. Yeah, not exactly pretty. So I don't know. I am not a Pikachu fan. I'm not a mid-tier fan. I love Yoshi. Okay. Other than that, I'm not a mid-tier fan. But I don't know. I'd like to see Axe come back swinging again because I think that he's one of the like cooler assets of Melee from an outsider's perspective.
It could be kind of funny because if he kept like slipping enough, like maybe he gets like I mean, I doubt it would ever get to this way, but like if he got like 16th seed or something at like some huge event and he played Zane like super early, or more realistically, if he got like 8 or 9 seed.
Do you think he's playing the long con? Is he gaming the system?
Yeah, he's just trying to get Zane.
He's gonna go to Summit and he's gonna play Zane round 1.
If I get Zane out of the bracket early, I'm down.
Wait, sorry, who said that? I didn't say that.
Just no one tell anyone. I'm fine with this decision as long as no one snitches. No snitches here, right? Chat, no snitches in chat.
Christian Dodge. I didn't say anything. What are you talking about, Faust? I said nothing.
Wait, do you want to talk about the biggest story from SCL, the first place finisher, potential
Mang
best
Zero?
in the world?
Is he Mang 0? Is he Mang number 1?
I'm mad at Mango right now. He was shit talking my Sheik all day. I don't like this guy anymore.
He's got a lot of stuff to say, but you might have a lot of stuff to say if you beat Zane twice on FD.
No, he played amazingly.
What he did.
He played really well versus Zane. I watched the VOD back afterward, and he just played. He played exactly how he needed to, and Zane was not hot that day, and he just got ran over. It should have been a 3-0, honestly. He kind of goofed game 1 pretty badly.
Dude, I can't believe he made that comeback game 3. He started off down so much.
He's down
that
2
was
stocks
crazy.
on FD. The Nair Dare after that, I saw it and I was like, yeah, Zane's done after that. He's not coming back. Mango's too good to let that go.
So, like, what do we think of this? You said Zane's not playing well. I agreed. That was not top Zane. I think that's probably going to be, hopefully not, but I think it's going to be one of those sets where people are like, see, Marth isn't busted on FD, just play like this. But like, is this sustainable? Is Mango really the number 1 right now? Like, we saw this last year, right? He won the first SCL week, and then Zane won the next 3. It's like, what do we think of Mango going into week 2?
They're just interchangeable. Like, I really think it's just gonna who's been playing better that week between those 2.
Yeah.
Like, there's a tier below them of like 3 of us where we have to just play amazingly well to beat them. Period. But for those 2, it literally comes down to whoever's playing better that day. I think just wins because they're both so good right now.
I think the one difference that we saw between Zane and Mango, like in terms of that tier, between SCL season 1 and season 2, is we saw Zane have some losses in between them. Like before, Zane was unbeatable. He had that 1 set loss to Mango at SCL week 1. And then other than that, he was like untouchable until LACS 3. But we see like, having S2J in bracket might not be the thing that he wants most. And I know that we've seen a tiny like baby slump from Nunn that I'm not going to hold against him. But having Nunn, Wizzy, and even Gatsu now, like that is scary. And if Plup's back, all players who I think I favorite Zane for, but like definitely the landscape surrounding like Zane's number 1 status is way different than it was even a couple months ago.
I think that's a great point, and I want to bring it up with the other side, which is that I think a Falcon heavy landscape or even Axe like a Falcon heavy landscape or Axe back in the picture is very favorable for Mango
Yeah.
Conversely. So when you're comparing their chances to win big events against each other, I would still probably give Zayn a slight advantage in the head-to-head. But if we're talking about their chances to win a big event or to consistently win, measuring how they do against the field is definitely going to be like a huge factor in determining who number one will be and predicting it. Like heading into the rest of the year, especially since even if Zayn is favored over the Falcons, that's a matchup that Mango, like, maybe none can take a set here and there, but Mango is still very much like, that's his comfort zone.
There's going to be a lot of people who aren't playing right now. So we kind of joke about this. This isn't a takeaway from Zayn. It's more a joke that has some truth embedded in it. Whereas like Zayn was untouchable. It's like, well, yeah, Mango was second in the world and he plays Falco. I was third in the world and I play Fox.
Yeah.
All the Falcons were gone. Wizzy couldn't play melee anymore. Johnny was not as good as he is now. None had a good streak. But besides that, Plup wasn't playing. Axe sucked. So all the people who could give Zayn a problem literally didn't exist. And then he had two Spaceys and then a nerfed version of Hbox. And it's like, yeah, if I was a Marth, I would love that world. You're telling me that's what that, like, if you're telling me I had a world where 2 and 3 were Sheik and Hbox, oh please. Please give me that. I would be the happiest person on the planet. And not to take away, because obviously Zayn's amazing, and he's still very clearly in discussion for best player in the world. But it's definitely going to be a lot harder with him, and especially when offline comes back, you have Plup back in shape. Plup, I think, is the hardest thing for him long term. Period. You have Leffen, who's going to be playing Sheik. And say what you want about the matchup. Leffen believes a lot more in Sheik, and for him personally, play wise, that's a lot more important for him than what the matchup might actually be in theory. And so he's going to be ready, and he's played multiple fighting games at the top level, so he's not going to come in without like being super prepared.
Yeah.
Then you have Axe on LAN again, and no matter what Axe does, he's still going to be really good versus Marth, and he's still Pikachu, and we know he does better offline than he does online for whatever reason. So it's going to be harder for him, and I think he likes that. I think Zayn's up to that challenge, but it will be a lot more interesting. Spark moved to Pakistan. Faceroll hates net play, and then his glasses also broke apparently during the tournament, and then something else went wrong. His audio went off. I don't know. He had like 80 things go wrong apparently.
His glasses broke?
Something, that's what I heard. I don't know, but it was one of those things where it's like, it was just Murphy's Law for him, I guess. I don't know.
I think Spark is competing at some event this weekend on 3 buffer with the rest of like South Asia.
Really?
Which is probably going to be very not interesting, unfortunately.
I've heard he has fiber, but
he does.
I don't know. From Pakistan to wherever he would be playing, right? Philippines or whatever it ends up being.
Philippines, Korea.
I don't really know how that all works out. But dude, if I could see some three-frame buffer Spark, I would still appreciate that.
3-frame buffer Spark versus Ingen.
I've heard that name before. Who is
versus that? Devil?
Yeah, versus I think Devil moved back though. Ingen is like a up-and-coming Japanese Marth player.
Okay.
He's like a super grinder. He's been getting like a bit better.
Yeah, cool to see them have a Marth. But
yeah, I can't wait.
I think the only thing with just kind of circle back to Mango, the only thing is like this is always what happens, right? Like Mango wins a big tournament, he looks great, and I send Wheat a massive paragraph on why I think Mango is the best player in the world, or I just text him like a huge thing that's like, dude, he's just different. Like this is it. Like this is Mango's time, and then he loses to like a top 10 or 15 player the next week.
Yeah, we all like hold hands and we sway back and forth. That's what happens when Mango is like looking like number one.
I've been really
Melee's in such a good Melee's in such a good place, dude. Like I really feel confident about the metagame. And
like
he's
every time Mango wins a tournament, yeah, I'm like, we're all gonna be playing until like 2050. And then the next he enters and he loses like none or something the next week. And it's like, whoa, what's gonna happen then? I guess Melee's dead.
Yeah, this used to be the 2019 thing, right? Like he'd win a tournament over Hbox or something. We'd be like, dude, the metagame is so good right now. Like I'm really excited. And then he'd lose the next event and we'd be like, dude, like I don't want to be part of Melee anymore in 2 years.
It's like, what's the point of all this?
Atox was winning every event.
Which we have not seen, obviously.
Nope.
Which brings us to our next topic. So Hbox. He was probably the most contentious pick to be in Div 1, despite being the 3-time in a row #1 player in the world. And obviously, we found that I don't want to say like one head-to-head means if you deserve to be in there, but how it shook out was, now he is in Division 2. So what do we expect to see from week 2? Is he gonna stay in Division 2? Is he gonna be in Division 1, or dare I say it, will he have to qualify week 3?
Who's he playing? Do we know?
Yes, I think that is out. Give me 1 second. He is going to be playing Lucky.
Lucky.
Ooh.
Yeah, that,
Oh. I
that's
think
a spicy one.
I think he'll stay in D2. I don't think he's ready to be in D1 yet. I think even if he beats Lucky, whoever he's going to play from Division 1 is just going to be too rough for him right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal guess.
What about the narrative? He's all about the narrative.
Controlling the narrative.
He's all about controlling the narrative.
There isn't a narrative when you're not playing Melee. There isn't a narrative when you're shield grabbing on the platform 10 times in a row. I'm sorry, bud.
Well, you say there's not a narrative. I guess you haven't seen the tweet where he said he found out how to fix his overclocking or whatever. What was that? What was that tweet about?
It was a Windows update.
Dude, I saw that and I just rolled my eyes. I was like, dude, you've been playing for a year now. Like this is not gonna suddenly make all your losses disappear.
Yeah, I'll forget about when Fable double 3 stocked him on Dreamland because of this Windows update.
HBox 15-3 versus Fox in quarantine. He's like 2-12 versus me. What? How is he 15-3 versus Fox? I've farmed him at every event.
I do think that once you go below you, dip below you in terms of Foxes, this is like the HBox effect. As good as I think these Foxes are, I've talked to Edwin about this. Give me a PR Yoshi, like a 5th place, in their region.
Let's go Beezim.
And Beezim or Whiskers, or dude, I can even Egg Money. I think is going to beat HBox before SFAT does.
You might not be wrong, actually.
So I think there's some spell that HBox has casted where.
I'm so happy you mentioned this because I think weirdly enough, if you give me HBox versus someone he's played and beaten before, like Aklo, SFAT, and Lucky, I think if I were to predict, HBox is probably favored in that. But if you were to give me HBox against Ben, all of a sudden we're in the danger zone.
If HBox makes it to winners quarters at a big event, I'm he's very possibly going to win this whole thing. But it's the round 2 pools of an online major. And I'm like, damn, he's got to play lemon juices. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah. So Cody, I wanted to ask you, what do you think's different about him against those familiar Foxes versus Azel, for instance? How do they? What's the difference in how they play it, which make it?
He has some kind of convoluted mental block going on right now that I don't know if I want to completely go into. But the long or the short of from what I can figure out is that when he plays someone that is kind of coming up and that he is considered considerably worse than him or not as good, but he could technically lose to them. I think his ego prevents him from actually trying, because if he tries and loses, I think that's a lot worse for him than if he just kind of they're so good. Ben's this alien Sheik player. I could never hope to achieve this level of Melee that he's playing right now. Meanwhile, Ben's top 30, 40, and this dude is number 1 3 years in a row. But whatever. And it's he literally, I'm watching the gameplay. He literally doesn't play the game against these people. And I'm watching it. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He'll just drift down lazily without any drift or air dodge or fair, and he'll just get faired by Sheik. And I'm like, huh? You're Jigglypuff. Why are you getting hit so easily? And it's the most bizarre thing to watch. But then he plays against Zane, and he goes to game 5, and I'm watching this, and Zane didn't play amazingly, but he didn't play terribly either. And I'm like, whoa, what the hell? This is not the same HBox I've been watching all of quarantine. And he'll do the same thing against me. He'll play for a game, and he'll start out super strong. And then the second anything goes wrong for him, or the second he fears losing, he just crumbles completely. And it's just really bizarre.
Do you think it's an established game plan? Even if it's subconscious, is an established game plan versus these people who he's played for 5 years or longer?
I'm sure it's part of it. I'm sure there's a level of comfort that comes with playing those players that he's played so many times and he's beaten so many times, and he kind of knows what it's like to feel when he's beating them. Yeah. And I'm sure that's definitely part of it. I wouldn't discount that. Yeah.
I don't know. He is one of the more interesting people in Melee right now, which is why he controls the narrative.
Oh yeah, I guess so. He got that going. He'll take us out of all the top players at some point. He'll beat me. He could beat me at freaking thing this weekend if it's possible, but it's not likely. And I would put a lot more money on someone worse than him beating any of the super top right now.
Mm-hmm. And that like kind of space where he's in, where I think he's does solid against the established top players, below the top like tier, top 2 tiers, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think I say he's got to stay in Division 2, just because I don't think he would be making a run where he would need to beat Lucky and then whoever comes down for Division 1, like Cody said.
Yeah.
But also losing to Lucky, and then he would have to lose to whichever like player makes it through qualifiers.
Yeah, I don't see
I don't
that
know.
happening.
Unless it's like Plup or something, that would be
I think Plup's done. I think he said he's done.
really
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
shame.
until he gets a new controller, I think he said he's done.
okay.
And he will probably enter the one after that, is my guess, based on timelines of how long controllers take. But he's not entering until he gets a new controller, and he can warm up on it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so for week 2 predictions, I guess we know Plup is not going to be a part of it. But let's look forward to week 2 of SCL. So do you guys have the matches in front of you? I can send it to you if not. So
I know the Division
Yeah,
1 matches.
I have
I just know the Division 2 matches. If you could send it to me, that'd be nice.
Yeah, you should have it. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm not sure if like the Division 1 has some stuff where kind of foregone conclusions, but like I still think everything's interesting.
Yeah. I think Division 1, the only thing I could see happening is SJ Soonsay. Like, all the others could happen, but they're not likely. It's nothing where I'm like, oh, I can't wait for that. It's like I look at it, and the expected outcome is this person's going to lose clearly.
Mhm.
Maybe take a game, but expect to lose clearly. Like Mango, Wizzy, I don't think I need to talk about. Me versus Zach, offline thing is different, but I think Zach's pretty bad in lag, and our connection's never great. And the past 3 times we played have been very, very brutal. And I've gotten a lot better since offline. Zane Moki, again, I don't think I really need to explain. SJ Soonsay could be interesting. SJ looks really strong, and I still favor him immensely, but I don't know. Soonsay has so much Nun practice, and then peak Nun practice, and he beat Nun when Nun was like super good. And so I think that's definitely possible. What's the Division 2 matches? Hbox Lucky, Nun Gatsu, Ginger Deki.
Yeah.
That'll be a good test for Deki.
Yeah, I'm
For
curious
sure.
to see. I haven't seen like. I'm curious to see how that would turn out. I think Ginger's a pretty like tall order for someone like that. You know, like
Yeah.
up and coming box.
Agreed. Can I answer one of the questions in chat?
Yeah, go for it.
Do we know who won the coin flip for third between Cody and SOJ? So Aiden messaged me right after I lost. He was like, which of these players would you prefer to play against in next week's bracket match? And I was like, I don't deserve dog shit right now, dude. Just give me who the fuck ever. I don't care. And so I'm assuming I got 4th pick for that reason. That's my very honest guess. And I only gave him that voice because I was very mad that he messaged me right after I lost.
It's a very Aiden thing to do.
Yeah, no, I love Aiden, but I was like, I'm not answering this right now.
Yeah. So let's just get down to it. Cards on the table. Predictions for week 2. Who's gonna win? Are we gonna see a repeat of SCL season 1? Zane gonna just do it again? Or could we see the are we all gonna be holding hands and swaying back and forth and singing Kumbaya while Mango wins season 2?
I mean,
Well, I think I can think of one person on this panel who wouldn't be doing that if Mango
Yeah.
won season 2.
I have to believe myself. I'm gonna say I'm gonna win because if I'm competing and I don't think I'm gonna win when I'm the
Yeah.
number 3 seed, what am I doing?
You can't say anything but yourself.
Yeah, I have to say myself. I
So
literally.
who's
have
gonna
to.
get second then?
Well, I mean, I have to beat Mango before I beat Zane, so Zane.
True.
If you want my honest outsider's perspective that I won't let in, I think Mango.
Damn.
Honestly, I think Mango. I'm sure Zane's gonna grind this week to get better.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? Zane's such a huge grinder that I feel like it's tough to see him lose multiple events in a row.
Moki has a shot at beating Zane the same way Wizzy has a shot at beating Mango. They have shots, but it's not likely.
Edwin?
Yeah.
Thoughts? I'm thinking Zane.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Mango. I think S beating SJ afterward would be. I think Soonsay could beat SJ, but I would still have SJ as like the solid favorite.
Yeah,
Mhm.
same.
And And I think just Mango looks really good right now. I can't see him losing to Wizzy. And like having a very favorable match coming first is, well, I guess you could say the same thing for Zayn, but I don't know. I just like how Mango looks right now.
Damn, I should say Mango. That seems the fun answer. But it's already set in stone. So we'll see. We'll see next week who's right and who's wrong. And coming up next, we're going to have a super fun segment, the Edwin Budding Stock Exchange. But first, we're just going to go to a short break. All right, welcome back to Melee Stats Waiting for Game. Thank you for waiting for us during our short break. So we are going to get into our next segment, the Edwin Budding Stock Exchange. You know, in the New York Stock Exchange, split-second decisions can save or lose thousands of dollars. And in this, there's no money on the line, but we're going to use some split-second decisions to decide whether or not we're going to buy, sell, or hold. Is that something you can do with stocks? we're gonna decide on players and Melee concepts, just whether we're not going to buy or sell or hold them. So let's go, Edwin. You are going to be our stockbroker for this, right?
All right, awesome. I need your help, guys. I have a ton of shares. I don't know what to buy. I don't know what to sell. I don't know what's a good stock on the Smash market right now. I don't know what's a bad stock. I don't know my left ear from my right. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give you guys 7 quick questions. You guys are gonna give me your best possible answer. At the end of these 7 questions, the person who's given me the better answer more times is gonna get a minute to speak about whatever they want. Sound good?
All right.
Can I force the other person if I win to speak about something that I want them to speak about? Because I think it'd be funny.
Oh no, that's me. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Don't treat me like that.
I didn't exactly think of.
I'm down.
All right.
I'm
Well,
down.
I'll
Yeah,
think about it.
if we
I'll think about
your
it.
player agreement. Okay,
I'll think about it.
sweet. All right, the first question I got for you guys: buy or sell Aklo?
Sell.
Bye.
Give me your quick explanation.
Dude, anyone who tweets this much about how they're not camping and talks about how great their link is, I'm not going to buy that.
Okay. All right. My answer is a little more based on facts, I guess. He's been super swamped with schoolwork, and he's done with his exam starting tomorrow, so he's actually going to start grinding again.
Damn.
And I know he's been super swamped with schoolwork for like the last.
Because the
3
insider
weeks.
information.
Yeah, get trolled.
This is insider trading.
That's what you call getting better played.
All right,
Second question.
Second question. Buy or sell North American LAN majors in 2021? Cody, you go first.
Land does that include invitationals?
Take it at however way you want.
Okay, bye.
I'll buy. Yeah, like I think if you talk to people 12 months ago, they would say that, or 12 months ago, 6 months ago, they would say there's no chance we're having anything in 2021. And it's very likely that we could have an in-person invitational, maybe multiple. And dude, we could see 100-person tournament, 200-person tournament by the end of the year. I wouldn't be shocked. I'm buying.
I'm buying
All right.
Summit. I'm pretty sure Summit's just like they didn't have online in their names. It didn't have Slippy. The last Summit had Slippy.
All right, third question, quick. I got a big problem, guys. I don't know whether I want to buy or sell UCF at majors. Wheat, help me out here.
I'm gonna sell. I think people forget what UCF is, and also Nintendo's on our backs.
UCF at majors. I'm buying. No shot. We're no. Yeah, I'm 100% buying.
Okay.
I'm buying UCF at majors because I guarantee you there is not a single top player that's going to be willing to play on those either shitty Arduinos, nor is there going to be a single top player who's going to attend a vanilla event.
No one's playing on vanilla.
That is not happening. I will boycott those events.
Okay, that ends the buy or sell segment. So now I'm gonna walk.
So short answer segment.
So I'm gonna walk you guys through the steal or scam segment. In this segment, I'm gonna mention a stock that I believe is at a very low price right now, but you're gonna tell me whether it's good to buy on that stock as a steal or whether this is a scam. All right. All right, Cody, tell me, steal or scam? Pikachu versus Marth.
Oh, 100% a scam.
I agree. Scam.
I think that it's just a combination of Axe genuinely being very good at the matchup. I could be wrong, but I think it's a combination of Axe being very good at the matchup and having no Pikachu experience, but there are Pikachus that are starting to get better. Tyler Swift's getting a little bit better. Anther still plays. I ran into him unranked. He still
OKP
he
did
actually looks
really
very
well.
good. OKP, haven't seen them at all, but I think that that is not a bad matchup going forward. Not to the extent that some of their other like invalidating matchups, and I think that Plup's can be the much bigger issue for Zane going forward.
People blow it up as such a bad matchup for Marth just because of Axe, but like the second Zane wins, people are gonna be like, yeah, why do we ever think this matchup was bad?
Oh, matchup solved, easy. Yeah. Pikachu
All right,
sucks.
Scam.
Steeler
Easy scam.
Steeler scam. Samus. Wheat.
Steal. I'll take it. I don't want to. I think the Blur said it best himself when he said there's no Samus players. So I'll steal this right now because when Wevins comes back and beats every Falco, my Samus stock will go rising.
You're putting me in an awkward spot because I want to say scam, but some jerk in chat's gonna bring up the fucking super set when I was trying to switch between Fox and Sheik, and I'm not gonna be very happy.
All right. Sixth one then.
I'll give that one to Weed.
Okay. Steeler scam. Final destination. Cody, go off.
Oh, that's a scam. That stage is gone. We are done with that dart. We are done with that garbage. There are too many people who hate that stage. We're getting rid of it. I will make sure of it. That stage is gone. Yeah. You wins, you Marth man. Dirty Marth man.
Steal, dude. It took us how many years to get rid of wobbling?
Like, we got it, didn't we?
You think we're gonna get rid of a stage? No.
Hell yeah.
What are we gonna replace with? Rainbow Cruise?
Modded Japes, baby, all the way.
All right. For the last question, what is your long-term investment for the next 5 years?
What? Is this like a
Player-wise?
life question?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I forgot to mention. So we're off Steeler scam. We're off buy or sell. And this one, you got to tell me what's your long-term investment for the next 5 years in Smash?
Ludwig. I'm
I feel
sorry.
like that's cheating. I feel like you can't give that answer. Give me a player.
Well, Ludwig is a player. He played Ambi at EVO 2018.
All right, so Ludwig's not going anywhere in competitive Smash, so I'm going to give you an actual answer. Jmook.
Damn.
No explanation required.
All right. Well,
That kid is nasty.
when Ludwig bankrolls the Big House and Genesis and like all 8 of our super majors, we'll see how Jmook does at them. Jmook could get first tournament thrown by Ludwig. Who wins there?
As a melee player, Jmook. As a TO and an organizer, Ludwig.
All right, the results are in. The score is 4-3. Wheat, you have won the first Edwin Budding Stock Exchange.
Woo! Shit. Wait, what? Which one did you give him?
You
over
gave
though?
me wins, dude.
I gave him 1.
I feel like you gave up on the first one, too.
Which was the first one?
We don't give our special guest preferential treatment.
Messed up.
All right, Wheat,
Here.
you got a minute. Share whatever you want with the world.
We're gonna do the iBDW clause, and we're gonna make Cody speak about for 1 minute about something he doesn't like.
Oh, great.
So let's talk about how Marth loses on FD versus Spacies.
Well, you see, Marth does lose to Falco on FT versus Spaces because Falco has a fantastic neutral game and actually has picked a consistent pillar combos from 25 to 90% and a reliable way to win neutral below hand. So as long as you define Spaces as Falco, that's fine. If you lose it to Fox, yeah, if the Marth is really, really bad and doesn't know how to train up, doesn't know how to pivot, can't punish properly, can't edge guard, can't play neutral, and has to play a top 10 Fox, yeah, I would say that Marth probably loses on FD most of the time. I could see that argument. Probably. Good enough? Is that a minute?
Sure.
Off the clock?
Yes,
We'll pad it
something
out.
like that. Sure.
Cool. Yes, the very famous, yeah, I'm just not an FD type of Marth, you know?
Yeah, well, we've seen them in the past, and for very
And they don't
specific-
and they don't exist anymore for a
Yeah,
reason.
they're all gone.
there's
I
a couple of very
wonder
specific
why.
reasons we don't see those anymore.
I wonder what happened.
Well, I appreciate
Hey.
my time at the Edwin Budding Stock Exchange.
So, Cody, in the greatest transition of all time, tell us what's up. What's going on?
I'm chilling. I'm pissed about Sunday. That tournament hurt my feelings. I got tilt turn, got reversal by a Falco up B somehow. I don't even know how you accomplish that as a top Fox. It's just embarrassing. Got reversal spiked by side B twice. Then had this drunk dude just shit talking me in my stream for the next 3 days. I'm pissed. He wakes up drunk and then just comes in and shit talks me. And then he finally wins 1 day of Sheik Marth after losing 3 in a row and it just goes on a tantrum. Messed up. Besides that, I'm great though. How about you?
Dude, your ending combo in the set against Mango. I know it wasn't what you were looking for, but it looked so sick to start off.
and then I just oh my god, just backyard. My brain just crossed like 20 signals. I was like, I just want to kill him and get this done with it. I'm like, wait, I killed myself. Why'd I back air?
Yeah,
What
in the middle of
fuck,
the
dude.
in the middle of the sequence, I was like, "Damn, Cody, go off!"
And then I did. I went off. I went all the way
Dude,
off.
So like, aren't those the coolest ones though? I feel like every combo. This might be I might be like thinking about Smash 4 Twitter when it would like seep into my feed. But I feel like the coolest combos that everyone loved are the ones where it's like 3 cool things in a row and you can see the idea for the fourth and the fourth one just messes up. It's because like you don't have to see it finish. Like your brain takes it over. It's like what could possibly exist here, you know?
I'll take my combo versus none instead. The stadium combo. That was nice.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
I was happy about that one. And then I shook my head and the announcers were really confused, but he was just playing so badly I felt bad. Have you ever won a set by someone SDing? It's such a weird feeling. It's like you don't know how to feel.
Yeah, no, that's happened at a much lower stakes, but like in college crew battles.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's as high stakes as it gets. Listen, I was in college crew battles once. That was pressure. I don't want to go back to those.
Was Pika Pika on your crew?
Mine? No. He was RET.
Oh, okay.
I was U of R.
RET. That's very, very fitting for a Pikachu main. Oh, wait, it was a Sheik main, right?
Yeah, he's a Sheik main. I don't know why I stacked Pika Pika to this day.
Pika
Still
Pika.
have no idea.
Dude, you've been playing a ton on stream with like Mewtwo King and everything. So in a way, like you're
Speaking of players who are named after characters that they don't main.
yeah, you've been playing a lot with someone that I think like not many of us have been able to like see, you know, even just play Melee that often. So I found your streams them pretty interesting. What's that been like?
It's been cool. I think I'm trying to get more people to play. Like, I want more top player practice at the end of the day. I'm just kind of greedy like that. And so I just want to play with them. And it's good content. It always does well. I'm playing with PP on Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Sheik Marth, we're not doing Fox yet. I don't think he's ready for it, either mentally or like to deal with the shit he's gonna have to deal with in chat, which is gonna be annoying. No matter what, if I drop a game, I'm gonna have to deal with it. If he gets murdered, he's gonna have to deal with it. We're just gonna have to monitor that, but should be interesting either way. I'm excited to play him, but it's been nice because a lot of these people, like, I grew up watching them and I never got to play them. Like, I'm still super new, and so a lot of people I just never really played. So it's my first time really getting to play them. I've never watched PPMD play a game of Melee in live.
wow. That is nuts.
That's crazy.
I guess I watched Battle of Five Gods, but he was washed by then.
Yeah, I think that's a different PP.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how that's an increasingly like common thing from not only people like who are watching the scene, but just from players. Like we have so many players who joined in 2016 or after 2016 who are super good now. And damn, I don't know. I hope people get to see him play live again, like a real bona fide set. That'd be amazing. But I think that's so cool. I'm gonna have to watch that. That sounds sick. What Anoke and I, what Edwin, Budding, and I have been talking about all the time is where we think Mewtwo King would be in the Melee landscape right now as a competitor. So I think like you're a good person to ask for that. You know, you've been playing him pretty consistently the past few weeks. What are your thoughts on that?
Does he have time to derust, or like right now, like today?
Sure. Let's say Summit's in June, right? Let's
He'd be top 10 free.
Damn, okay.
He'd be top 10 free.
So, but
Also, top 10 still not that good.
Yeah, well, yeah, but like, what is his? You know, how does he play versus the current crop of players we have? Because I've talked to Edwin about this. I feel pretty confident against for him against like the up and comers, especially because a lot of our up and comers are Fox players.
Yeah.
Like as good as I think the Soonsays of the world are, I'm not sure if I'm ready to say that they're gonna beat Mewtwo King. But I don't know.
They did play a really close set at Genesis, but I agree with you.
Like give him face roll or spark or dude Ben. We talked about Ben
for him.
Ben would be. I think Ben would be tricky because Ben also is a pure jank grabber. Dude, I ran into. So to be fair, it was game 5, but I had to play Ben in bracket with my Sheik, and it was miserable. I hated it. This dude just went to chain. He has chain grabs on deck, and he's good at them. And he's obviously gotten a lot better since then. So that would be annoying for him. But I really think, especially Mutaking, I think if he came back, he'd actually play Fox for Sheik. I think I've talked to him about that.
Really?
I think he'd play
Wow.
Fox for Sheik, yeah. And if
Yeah.
his Fox gets like good enough, like Fox just kind of rolls Sheik unless Sheik is like amazing. The Sheik has to be really, really good for that matchup to not be bad.
So what's up with his Sheik then? You know, because I think that's another big question, right? We talk about Sheik Ditto is a scary matchup for him, but also like we see Gatsu, Wizzy, S2J, None, like all of them are popping off super hard. We've seen him have losses to Falcon as Sheik.
Mhm.
Like, how do you think he would fare with that? I mean, this is all hypothetical. So.
Yeah, I think he'd get back. Like, he would drop sets. I still think I would favor him against most of the Falcons if he hopped back. Mostly because Johnny would get furious because he'd ledge camping, so would None, and they would both rage and wind up killing themselves like 10 times probably. And then Wizzy would be. Well, I think actually Wizzy would be the one that's trickiest for him, in my opinion. I think Wizzy would be the trickiest one for him. I think Johnny and None, he would be able to like. I don't want to use the term cheese because it's not really cheese. It's just like take advantage of them pretty clearly.
How do you think he'd do against like the new and improved Gatsu?
Probably shit on him if he like got super. If he like derusted, I think he would just win. I don't think Gatsu is ready for that type of gameplay yet. Like I think Gatsu do well against a lot of the top 10-ish like lower end, but I have yet to see him like really impress me versus like someone in like the top like 3 or 4 tier yet. And that's where if Mutaking got enough time, I think he would be on the outside of it looking in, but I don't think he'd be much below it if he had a few months of derust. And that's what someone would be.
If Gatsu represents a player who's always been good, who's been improving,
Yeah.
What if we talk about the opposite end of it? How does he do versus HBox?
Oh, he would murder HBox right now.
Yeah,
I guarantee it. That would not be close.
I don't think it'd
Wow.
be very.
HBox would get so tilted.
You think
No,
with Fox even?
Yeah, HBox would get so tilted. The way HBox's mindset works right now, he would just tilt off the face of the planet. He would get like lose one stock on FD because Mutaking's just camping him, and he'd be like, "This is so stupid. I can't do anything. I can't catch him. I can't do him. I can't do it." And I know this because I'm in Discord calls with him every time I play him.
How many sighs are we gonna hear if a Mewtwo HBox set happens?
Oh, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna get my popcorn ready.
Dude, the thing is, that is like somehow it's a win-win, right? Because I'm sure both of them would be gifted 200 subs.
HBox probably a lot more than that.
Yeah, well,
Egan is about to pop off in chat.
that's the
You know,
thing.
it's so weird that like I'm thinking of all the problem matchups that Mutaking could have, and a lot of it involve people who aren't like around. Like I think Face Roll and Spark would
for sure.
would be potential problems for him, but they're not around right now.
Yeah, we're not dealing with the full cast, right? Like all of the top players. It's like when you have Saved by the Bell, and then they have a spin-off, and like half the characters are there. That's kind of Melee Online, right? Is we are seeing a lot of top players playing, but not everyone's playing consistently, and not everyone's even playing.
Yeah, it's kind of rough actually. Like, it sucks that we can't see Luffin at all. Triff basically is just relegated to unranked and just playing in Europe. We don't get to see Plup at all. We don't get to see Axe even caring about the game right now. Amsa, nobody even remembers half the time.
I don't
How
know.
do you think
He got 4K likes on his tweet where he demolished Melee
K's
stats member
Falcon?
AB.
That's funny.
Cody, I know you were thinking of doing something like a East Coast and European like weekly or bi-weekly series or something like that.
Something just after SCL, yeah.
Tell us what your plan is for that and kind of what you envision for it.
I'm gonna have to do a lot of troubleshooting with it. Obviously, I can't focus on it right now because I care too much about SCL. After this SCL, I could probably think about it more because I have a week break. So I'll probably put more effort into it then. But until that time comes, I kind of can't think about it too much. My goal is really just to have like East Coast and Europe be able to play on 3 frames. I'm going to have to be careful because like I played solo, and for me it was bearable. But I know that if someone's like south, a little bit more south, because obviously Finland's pretty north, that it might cause issues even on 3 frames. And so I have to think about the geographic barriers there. But my goal, I think, definitely northeast to Europe, and then maybe like mid to East Coast. But I have to see. I have to see about that.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably. I guess it's against the spirit of it to run like exhibitions for Europe versus players on the East Coast who have good Wi-Fi or good internet.
Yeah, like I think that might be if like let's say solo battle can't enter it. I might see if I can get an expansion with him. Like if he literally just cannot connect to the rest of the East Coast, then
Yeah.
I would maybe try to get a set with him with other people. But besides that, yeah, we'll see. But like I was able to play Red Blaze on 2 frames. I played France with 2 frames, UK with 2 frames,
Really?
and it was all good. Yeah, no problems.
Can you play Prissant?
Probably, yeah.
I want to see Prissant so
Dude,
bad.
we miss person so bad.
I probably can play him. Yeah.
If I had like a monkey paw, I mean, I don't know, world peace or something, I guess. But the other one would be Prissant coming back.
Dude, give me 5 of person's characters against like the rest of the bottom half of top 100. I think that dude person is nasty.
He's
He's
really
so
strong.
good.
We gotta pressure him into getting like a 5v5 Iron Man versus all of Europe's best. Because I think like, dude, up until Leffen, I think everything's guaranteed.
Basically, yeah.
I really don't know what would even stand in his way. Like Prof's Falcon or whatever. Like just the thought of anyone but Leffen's 5 characters versus Prissant.
Triff has some secondaries. I could see Triff doing
The
something.
Falco's decent. I don't know. He goes.
Yeah, I mean, his Fox 3-0'd solo.
True. You're right.
The Fox did 3-0 solo, so I can't say it's terrible.
When are we gonna see Prof versus Professor Pro?
Oh my god, I forgot that those 2 are different players.
CEO, make it happen.
Probably CEO, yeah.
If
comes
Professor
back.
Pro loses, he drops the professor from his name and just becomes Pro.
Wouldn't he drop the pro from his name?
He'd
be Professor Amateur.
Prof doesn't travel, does he? Not Professor Prof. Prof.
I think we only see him at like Florida events.
Yeah, so it would have to be a CEO, I guess.
We'll make it happen.
We'll see though. Maybe,
on the melee stats blimp, we'll fly Professor Pro over.
The
your
blimp.
next Patreon goal.
What? I never agreed to this.
We're getting a blimp. We got a brand new dirigible.
Yeah, I've seen Prof enter some net play events. I just don't know if he's travels.
Maybe a boat.
A boat.
It's a dinky little. Ah.
Melee stats branded life jackets. I'm down. I'm liking this idea
Yacht.
actually.
I'll bring it to the next board
It's definitely
meeting.
not a yacht. Melee stats houseboat. So
I think now
think
would be a good time for some some stream questions.
I think we're getting some questions in. If anyone wants to,
The only other thing is, I talked to Edwin a little bit about it. I am excited to see Keizu Kador in for Division 2.
Oh
That's a match I want to watch. None of the other ones seem that. We talked a little about most of them. We have none in Gatsu, HBox Lucky, Ginger Daki, but Keizu Kador seems to be the one that I'd be. I guess I'm interested in none Gatsu too, actually, with none being a little bit of a slump.
The Falcon Diddle is also one of Gatsu's stronger ones, if I'm not mistaken.
Gatsu used to be like was Demon, I think, at one point.
Yeah, so this is actually like this is like a old melee stats joke. So in the middle of like 2019, there was a period of time where Wizard went from like beating HBox on route to like 4th at Gommel to winning Smash and Splash to finishing 2nd at Smash Summit. So all of us were convinced like, oh my god, dude, like this could be Wizrobe's chance. Like he could be number 1 in the world if he has like a really big performance. And specifically Ambi when looking through the CEO bracket when we were previewing it, I think there might even be an old clip on the show. Ambi goes verbatim. He goes, "All Wizrobe has to do is not lose to Gatsu, and he's got this."
Dude, that was the one thing.
Happens.
We were all like a blood pact. We were gonna rank him number 1.
Yeah, all he has to do is not lose to Gatsu.
I never lost to Gatsu.
The funny
I
thing
almost
was that-
beat him at that tournament, I'm pretty sure. I think we had a really close set.
I think I vaguely remember that. I was on vacation while that happened. So I was like stealing away time so I could watch Twitch on my phone.
I'm pretty sure I was up game 5 against him. Am I remembering my events properly? I'm 90% sure I was up on him game 5.
Our viewers are nerds. I'm sure they remember it more than you do.
Dude, Gatsu is one of those, just like thinking about it, he's one of those guys who I just like, I've always seen him as so good, but he always somehow still manages to surprise me. Like between beating Wizrobe that time at CEO, between like beating Aklo at Austin Melee Bender after like we talked about how close him and Aklo was going to be. Then like when he 3-0'd Fiction last year. I know that Fiction wasn't like feeling it that day or whatever, but like Gatsu always just like randomly impresses me, even though I already conceptualize him as someone who's very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have a pretty good question in the chat right
Before
now.
that,
I was up game 5 last stock. Yeah.
damn.
Oh, what were you gonna say, Wheat?
Before that, I want to say that Fiction also. What's going on this week for Melee Stats team members getting roasted by top players? First, KB gets demolished in that AMSA clip, and then Fiction gets DQ'd into losers at Levo, beats Melee Stats,
Beats Oven, poor guy.
and then DQs immediately after.
He thought the set against Oven was in winners. That's so funny because he just woke up.
Yeah, he found out it was in losers, so he's like, oh, whatever.
He
But
looked, yeah.
I've seen some good. I've seen some good comments. We have a good one from Koopa Troopa. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So upcoming top 5 player, Koopa Troopa. So say AMSA D-Rust and comes to Summit. Who are new and upcoming players you think? Sorry, it's moving as I'm reading it. Who are new and upcoming players you think he'd have trouble with, and who's the best player you think he'd beat right now? So this is AMSA at Summit. You know, hypothetical. I don't think that he could even travel, but hypothetical. Where do you think AMSA lands right now in Melee's meta?
Everyone comes back. I think he might be top 20. He's gonna.
Damn,
he's
low.
He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to come back to some events. I mean, it's just really hard. He hasn't competed. Like that's a really big hurdle to try to overcome.
Who do you think's scary for him now? Like who might not have been a threat in 2020? Ben's a good example.
I
Gatsu.
think Moki and Sensei would be scary.
Moki and
especially
Sensei are
Moki.
both really scary. Moki's really good versus Yoshi.
Yeah.
All the Falcons got a lot better, and that's a bad matchup.
I think the fun thing with AMSA is that like we've been saying this since 2014, 2013. Like every time he gets a win, we're like, okay, well, obviously this is the peak, right?
Yeah.
He can't keep doing this. And then he will dip a little bit and then come back and like beat Wizzy or whatever.
Yeah.
He is so amazing at continually taking his character and just like finding ways to prove everyone wrong. So
Funnily enough, I think Fox is kind
flow.
of the nail in that. I think Fox is the character that kind of says to Yoshi, like, no, you're not that good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Daki or Fat Goku with enough like prep would be scary.
That Goku almost beat AMSA at main stage. It was
Yeah.
game 5 last. I think it was reverse 3-0 if I remember correctly.
That was
Or almost.
I forget if it was a reverse 3-0 or if he went up 2-1.
Yeah.
It was I watched it live. It was very close.
It's that's rough. That's Yoshi gets really body. I think even AMSA said that he thinks Fox is Yoshi's worst matchup. Like I played AMSA at Summit 8, and I literally had not played a good Yoshi in bracket ever, and I pretty convincingly 3-0'd him with just like an hour of Nez warm up. And I really didn't know what I was doing in the matchup at all. And he's really good versus. Like I think he took a game off left earlier. It's just like, no, this is a bad matchup.
Yeah, and like speaking about Fox, the only thing that we saw from AMSA, basically the only thing was that was it Gallant, the original Gallant in January. We saw Shinsuke versus AMSA, the best of 7.
That happened?
Yeah, was it best of 7 or best of 9? Whatever it was.
Best of 7, I think.
Yeah. And Shinsuke ended up winning. That was.
But I will say, like those kind of sets, like AMSA against Shunsuke and like his in-region sets, are very strange.
Shunsuke. I thought you were saying Sunsei.
No,
Shunsuke.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember. Okay.
Yeah, I will say, like those are just like very strange sets. Like I don't know how to contextualize his records against other Japanese players. Like he doesn't dominate the region like you'd think someone of his like international playing caliber would, but I don't know if that's because he like doesn't take it as seriously or if it's just like a talent pool thing.
They're just better versus Yoshi. It's a combination of things, but I think the biggest factor is again Yoshi. Like Yoshi's a mid tier for a reason, or like whatever you want to contextualize, like a little high tier, however you define them. I define that as like mid tiers, then everyone else is just irrelevant to me. There's a reason Yoshi's a mid tier, and when the best player in your region plays that character, everyone's gonna know how to play against that character. Because I've consistently seen him drop it to a lot of Japanese players who come to the US and I play them like, yeah, you're solid, but you shouldn't be beating top 10 players, like ever. But they beat him with, and not only they beat him with some regularity, and that's like, and there's 2 top Yoshis there, and so it's just like the character isn't that good. It's just not to take away from him because what he does is genuinely incredible. Like it's actually bizarre how good he is with that character. But if everyone is studying for that character, you're going to struggle significantly more. It's just when you're in America, you're not who the fuck's studying for Yoshi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that like maybe this is me sleeping on AMSA a little. I do think some of the like top 25 on East Coast style like the outside shots or like wild card type players on the East Coast would be a little scary for him. Like I don't know, like if I saw Polish versus like AMSA now
be
in
scared.
bracket,
Yeah,
or
you know,
or even like Zuppy versus
Aklo?
yeah, Aklo. I wasn't even gonna say Aklo. I was gonna say like Zuppy versus AMSA. I think is like
maybe.
like, kind of feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the scary thing is that in like a bracket, in a bona fide super major bracket, we could see scary people play him in a best of 3.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean I get it, and I will probably do the same thing I do every time he plays, where I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be scary, and then I watch him get 5th place or something. But who knows? I mean, last time we saw him in America for Genesis 7 and Summit, he
And
was
ninth, I think.
was it 9th or was it
13th or 9th.
yeah, that
13th maybe.
I forgot if it was 13th or 9th.
Even like playing Faust. Like if Faust gets an early rest, I'd be scared for AMSA. I would say Faust can do this easily. I remember Jerry versus AMSA at SmashCon.
I think you're just looking at chat and wanting to guess up Faust because the
Actually, no.
chat.
I just remember the Jerry set from SmashCon. I was like, if I see like any puff, like who's a puff, like who's decent on the East Coast, like I think Faust could just easily rest him, and then you're screwed. I was just trying to think of the first puff that came to mind.
No, I mean
Like, and
we have
again,
so many puffs, like who could fill that role, right? Faust.
Yeah, what about better
or, like,
Faust,
Golden
Komodo?
or Dawson or Komodo.
I'd
Like,
be scared if you played. I forgot Komodo existed. I'd be scared like if any of them. It's just,
Yeah.
especially when you're not competing that much. Like that's
it'd be
kind of
like
the nature
like
of Yoshi.
Big House 10 and it's best of 3. Like give me a AMSA versus Komodo. Dude, I'm sweating if I'm an AMSA fan.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, and again, this is not to say like, oh my God, AMSA wouldn't be top 25 East Coast or whatever. It's saying that you know, for someone of his skill level, like there's enough of a chance that these kind of players would potentially beat him in bracket.
If there's that many players that you have a scary time with, I don't think you're going to be top 10 right now.
Yeah. I mean, this is his whole career, is like consistently proving himself, and again.
Yeah, and it's dope. I have tremendous respect for the guy. Like it's
Yeah,
legitimately like very impressive.
I'm saying this is it goes in ebb and flow, and this is the ebb right now. So he's just gotta show us out.
I feel the same about Axe. It's like I played Axe, dude. I have sets of Axe where the last time we played, or I don't know if the last time or the time before that, there was like a game 5 set at last stock, and I am the first one to admit I did not outplay him. He outplayed me, and my character just better charactered his. There was nothing else about that set. I should not have won.
Who do we like AMSA spread against then? I guess
Falcos. I think the Falcos are pretty. I think Falco Yoshi is a tricky matchup for Falco, and it's not one of Yoshi's worst matchups. So I like that. I do like Puff if the Puff doesn't get an early rest. I think he's going to be pretty good versus all the Mars besides Zane.
How do you feel about Sheik?
I feel like it depends on the Sheik. Like a sparked mold Sheik is going to be tricky, but like a Sheik who like kind of wants to scrap, be aggro, not do a lot of flow charts, that's going to be a lot easier for him, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, speaking of Sheik, another question we got is from our Patreon. Johnny Gamble from Pittsburgh asks, you know, what's going on with your Sheik? Obviously, I know it's kind of in the lab stages right now, but like, what's the future of it, do you think?
Not 100% sure yet. I do fully believe that because of the stage list, Fox Marth is not an endeavor that I really want to keep pursuing long term, because I do think that the magic will get to a point where it's kind of not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the stage list changed, in which case maybe I'd reconsider. And I could be proven wrong. Like I don't think I could trust enough. I can be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to admit it, and I'll go back to Fox. But as of right now, I can't focus on it during SCL because it wouldn't be ready for SCL anyways. And so I'm playing straight up Fox, and then after SCL, I'm probably gonna take like a month to grind Sheik and see how I feel about her. And so for right now, it's relegated to me and Mango shit talking each other.
What's like what would you be going Sheik the full set versus Marth, or would it be for specific stages?
Yeah, I think so. I don't want to deal with character switches. It might be a thing where it's like I could see by Marth's playstyle, like, oh, if I go Fox right now, I could throw him off. And there might be a day where I'm just like, oh, my Fox is playing hot. I'm not going Sheik. Maybe I just go Sheik on FD. But my goal is to get a good period and then maybe try it even for some other matchups where it's like, okay, like maybe I'm not playing great today. I could go Sheik for Falco instead and have a much more controllable matchup, a lot less of a like high variance matchup on my hands, where it's someone that I'm like very heavily favored against, but because I'm playing poorly, I might just want to bring out Sheik, or like maybe Axe takes me to FD with Pikachu, and I'm like, haha, fuck you, and then I bring out Sheik and
Yeah.
just chain grab him, or stuff like that. So
There was an ice set where he took Axe at game 5 and then pulled out like this rusty ass Sheik, and I then brought him down to last stock. Like
Yeah.
I think having that, you know,
Yeah,
ace
I
in the hole
remember
would be
that.
very strong. So we got another cool question from chat that I want to ask. It's about was it best or was it favorite? What was the wording on this? There was sorry. What is IBW's best set of all time? So you know, we have our melee stats brackets which show we just did the melee March Madness, which was the best set of all time. So like what do you think would fit in for you? Like what would the best set featuring Cody be? I think Edwin and I both mentioned that probably my favorite set is the H-Box set, the first one you took off.
yeah,
Summit.
I would probably say that's the top right now, just because HBox was literally like the #1 player for 2.5 years, and
Mhm.
nobody had beaten him. And then I beat him, and I beat him badly. And it was kind of the start of him not being like the dominant #1 player anymore, because he was pretty unbeatable before that for almost everyone. Like nobody was taking sets off of him. And then that happened. Then dropped a set to Albert. And also that was kind of like the last win in that run where I had like such a bad pools performance, like unforgivably bad.
Yeah, you started deep in losers and you had
Yeah.
this like run to 4th.
And then I beat like Moki, Mango, Amsa, and HBox as a player who like hadn't had a top 10 win yet, period.
I will say the other like very memorable set I can think of with you is actually the Big House one with Muja King, where he had that like crazy comeback game 5. But that
Yeah.
it got overshadowed because he beat like Hungrybox
Yeah.
the set after. Not to bring up old set losses, but it's been like a year and a half.
No,
Like,
it's fine. I even a month after, like even if someone brought up my Mango loss from Sunday, it's just like it is what it is. I just have to move on. I like the HBox set. I like the first set I took Luff and at Shine. That was cool.
Yeah, that one was really close. That was a crazy shine. You and Moki both sent left packing.
And then Moki
That's a
said
good
any
call.
old player can get it, and I laughed a lot. The thing is, I have it like it's weird. So when you think about like how I came up as a player, like Zane had that crazy like meteoric rise into the Shine 2018 win. Like I had just as quick of a rise because like I've played for a year and a half less than him, and where he was at this point last year is very comparable to where I am now. But I did it in a lot less flashy of a way. Like I don't have that big tournament win yet. And I'm trying to just beat, like, I've slowly getting to a point where it's like, I stop losing to people worse than me. I get better. And then I don't lose to anyone worse than me anymore. And then I get better again. And then I still don't lose to people worse than me. And I very rarely have, like, a big breakout performance. I don't know if you've ever, like, I don't know why you would look into my results that much, other than just it came up on the show. But it's not flashy at all.
No, I remember your rise in it was probably early 2019 was the time when people really thought of you as like a top 10 player, top 10 potential player. But even then, you know, you were rose from 50 spots from 80 something to 33rd, 34th or whatever.
Yeah, 84 to 34, I think.
Yeah. I talked to Edwin about this. There's like you'll see this in players sometimes where the perception of them will be different than like maybe how they actually are if they have one or two matchups that like auto wins and then they can fill in the rest, right?
Yeah.
Like, we see that now in the online era. If you're able to beat every single Fox or Falco you play, but if you lose to every Samus, it's like, yeah, you will be considered a top 20 player. But those players don't necessarily like have the longevity of someone who is consistently able to play like 8 out of 10 at every matchup, right?
Yeah, agreed. Even if the former player you mentioned might like grab a few more eyes, you know, just by virtue of like
if you can play 10 out of 10 in 2 matchups and then play 3 out of 10 in others, I think people will pay attention to you more. The person who's plays 7 to 8 out of 10 at every single matchup in the game, which is just that's how it is.
It was kind of crazy. Like I looked at some of the stats on PG stats the other day, and I had like a 70% win rate against literally every character. Like there was no variance except for like I think Puff, which Puff's my favorite matchup. But besides that, I had no variance at any of my win rates, and I was like, wow, that's like really weird actually. Because I looked at everyone else. Everyone else had some crazy type of variance there. Even Falcon didn't have a lot of variance on, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah, I think during your come up, I remember like you and Jerry were 2 of the Fox players that weren't like super well known to everyone else who
that kid was
I was
so
watching.
Good. That dude is so good at games. Holy crap.
The Joker main?
He's so good at it. He was so good at Smash. I'm so sad he would have been top 10. I'm
Yeah,
not even joking.
I'm still convinced that Xandu comes back and he like 6-0s Bobby.
Oh my
Yeah, he's still gonna
God.
come back and beat
Him
him.
versus Bobby was the funniest shit ever. It was literally I was in a Discord with Jerry and a bunch of other people, and every single Wednesday we would ping the Discord at he'd be like, "Time for Jerry Bobby." We'd all get into a call, watch, and just start laughing.
God, it was so good.
Jerry literally once rested Bobby like 5 times on reaction textures rest, and then looked at the top screen to see what Bobby's reaction was and started laughing at Bobby, and it was so freaking funny.
The character element to their rivalry, I guess if you could call it that, was so funny, and it's just very bizarre, especially like near the end part of the rivalry where Jerry would start rotating to like Marth and Sheik.
There'd be certain
So
points where
strange.
he would play Marth for fun, and then he would win game 1, and then he'd play Falco for fun.
Yeah.
And you can see that he's like, okay, well, I guess I want to play another character. I want to rotate like a 3-0, and he'll like go like Sheik or Fox or Puff or something. And he's done it. He's like 3-0'd him with 3 different characters. What a and you look at him, and it's just like no, maybe a smirk if you're lucky. Like you don't get anything from him, yet he's like BMing the entire time.
This is when
Jerry.
Bobby was like traveling the country. Like he was really grinding tournaments. He was getting better. Like he was a solid player.
Travel grind. He was on a Twitch grind.
I mean, he still is a solid player.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Through
Jerry
all
just
of the
fucked
hard
him
work.
every Wednesday.
Yeah, he would go there and get demolished.
It was
Dude,
like 60-4 one season.
Dude, one of the weirdest arcs of Jerry versus Bobby Big Balls, I swear, I'll never forget it. When Bobby would start counterpicking him to Dreamland and Jerry would start counterpicking him to Yoshi's because Bobby was so used to because I don't even know what it was that caused the whole like counterpick dynamic to flip in that matchup. It was I've never seen anything
like crazy.
Yeah, it's because their Yoshi's games would be like 60 seconds long.
Yep.
He'd get rested like 3 times and then just run off.
It was so funny. Oh,
Wait, do you remember the first set Bobby played against HBox where he was up like a bunch of like 3 stocks to 1?
Was it Momocon or something?
Yeah, it was Momocon. Yeah.
I remember watching. I was like, "What?" I was like, "What is going on?"
Dude,
HBox counterpicked him in Dreamland. I was like,
Jerry.
"Big mistake."
Yeah, he could literally have beaten HBox there, and I would still be like, "Yep, well, next Wednesday you're gonna lose." So
Yep. Yep.
You're
still gonna get ready to lose to Jerry.
enjoy it while you can.
Oh, I love Jerry.
All right, maybe another question or two, and then we're done. What do you think, Edwin?
Yeah, that sounds.
Do you see anything
good.
that you like in the chat?
Yeah, I actually saw something. Cody, I wanted to ask you this.
Sure.
I know you definitely have thoughts for this. From DNKNSNTL. I don't know how to pronounce that. When should East Coast pools in brackets and West Coast pools in brackets get combined in an online tournament?
If you have to implement a hard rule, either top 64 or top 64 or top 32, and literally no later. I don't know what the exact reason is, but East Coast is always significantly more stacked than West Coast. And I don't care for myself. My goal is to win the event, right? So I don't care who I run into. But for a lot of other players, it will make a big difference for them. Like, people are like, oh, it doesn't matter. You beat 22 and everyone. Yeah, but you're not going to go from top 80 in the world to beating everyone the next day. That just isn't how Melee works. And so for those people, especially for sponsors, for just notoriety, for stream sets, it is really important to them to place well. And that's why I think seeding at the level should be taken a little more seriously. But you have to like not completely screw them over. So I'd say probably top 64. And yes, you're going to run into some connection issues. Yes, you're going to have some people complain. Deal with it. That's me to those players. Deal with it. It's net play. It's the best we have. There's nothing we can do about it. Like, you just have to deal with it.
What do you think? Oh, sorry.
No, I agree. I think Cody makes the good points here. And there actually is another question that is related to online events, which piqued my interest. So maybe we'll go out on this one. So Too Many Falcos asks, what is the most realistic way TOs try to integrate online events into their offline event structure? So we actually had a podcast episode, not Waiting for Game podcast, we had a different podcast, Too Many Podcasts, with Sheridan, where Ambi and I talked about this very same exact thing. We are coming to a point where we will have offline events coexisting with online events. And like, what do you think the future is for that?
Pools for offline. So I hate best of 3. Best of 3 sucks. I think that round 1 pools online like could be really really nice.
Really?
You can even float like top. I'm saying if you're going to
Whoa.
integrate them. If you're going to integrate them. I'm not saying you have to. If the goal is to integrate, that's how I would do it. So that you can do
Yeah.
all best of 5.
That's wild. I never.
Imagine you get eliminated before you even step in the venue.
Get fucked.
Oh my god, that's brutal.
Wait, that's fine. Then you walk in back, you're like, time to play friendlies.
Yeah. Oh, that's
If you're going to
crazy.
integrate it,
Whoa,
I think it'd be nice.
what the hell?
Just because you can run all best of 5 at that point.
This is blowing my mind. Oh my god, how,
Yeah,
how did
I
none of
wasn't
us
ready
think
for
of
that one.
this?
I'll tell you.
I think
that.
it'd be fun. I get to do all best of 5, unlimited setups, and then when people want to play friendlies, everything's not clogged. Because if you need a tournament set, and you can actually play friendlies during that time, because when top 64 happens, you only need a fraction of the setups at super majors, and so the rest of the friendlies are still open.
The only thing is like how are events going to make money then? Like part of the appeal is that people are like part of what people are paying for
You have
is
to
like
sign up for
going
the venue to actually enter the tournament. So if you're gonna so you're better fly out there. Like you can just pay the venue and compete from online, but then why would you not if you expect to just get eliminated in pools? Like what's the point of entering that if you just expect to get eliminated in pools?
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be an issue because I'm pretty sure that most people like the appeal of a major if you're an 0-2er isn't to go to the major to compete. It's to go there and hang out with people to play friendlies, and you just do your pools online. And then you just go to the venue and play friendlies. I don't think there are issues I could see with it. I don't think that's one of them.
Yeah,
So,
the issues I'm thinking are
structure here
logistical.
itself, I
That's
guess.
crazy. Wow.
So does this happen? Because this can't happen. Like if we have a 3-day major, Thursday is obviously a travel day. You can't really expect people to play on Thursday, so it'd have to happen on like Tuesday or Wednesday, right?
Or the weekend before.
On the weekend before. Sure. That is the most unique answer I could have expected from this. I would have
I
just
can't
said,
believe none of us have ever thought of it. That's why I have to like sit on it a bit more. Wow. You
It's the best way I
eliminated
could think of
before-
integrating them.
I was just thinking have online weeklies and then have that feed into an in-person invitational or like I guess that's just SCL into Summit.
Well, yeah, if you can do that, but to me that's just no different than what we're doing right now.
Yeah,
and
true.
so I'm saying like if you want to like integrate with like majors like that, I think
Mhm.
that'd be pretty cool. Because again, you think about what happens when the round one pool start. There are no friendlies for anyone. It sucks. It's really annoying. I can't even warm up at the setups half the time. And then I go there. I have to wait. Like as a person who's going 0-2, it sucks because you play your sets and you have to wait 2 hours to play friendlies because everything's taken. As a top player, it really sucks. I have to wake up. I have to go there. I have to get ready to play 3 games against people that I have a 0.01% chance of ever losing against. I have to wait for stream for 3 hours, and I probably have doubles. I probably have all the other things that have to go on that day. I probably have sponsorship obligations. And it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, wow, I have to play my pool sets. I'm so treated badly as a top. Like, no. But I'm saying it would make a lot of people's like quality of life at a tournament go up significantly.
I appreciate the answer. That
Yeah,
is one.
I gotta
that's one
think,
we're gonna
I
have
gotta
to
think of
sleep
that.
on.
That's wild. Wow. That'll be a good clip to upload too, by the way.
And yeah, I think it's probably a good one for the audience to sleep on too, because this is probably going to take us to the end of the show.
All right, Cody, what do you want to share with us? Give us all your socials.
Yeah.
Do your plugging.
How about you plug you guys instead?
Well,
How
we've
about I
got
plug
all the
you all?
Twitters linked underneath our names in the overlay, but I know that you
Oh,
were
true.
working your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, it's just youtube.com/iBDW, I'm pretty sure.
And of course, the Melee Stats YouTube you can check out if you want to see our documentaries on Melee. And if you want to watch this or other podcasts or other archived sets from some lost sets that are now back on YouTube, you can actually follow the Melee Stats Archive, which is a new YouTube channel for one-offs and stuff like that, which definitely, if you are a fan of Melee Stats, that is something to check out. Edwin, you want to shill the Patreon?
Yes, if you love good Smash journalism and documentary making and podcasting and everything to do with Super Smash Brothers Melee, and you just love what we do in general, you can check us out at patreon.com/meleestats. It really goes a long way to ensuring that, like, you know, our work is supported. And we hella appreciate it. We love Melee. We love doing a lot of what we do for the scene. But just like if you have a few bucks to throw our way, it really goes a long way in helping us do more things, like having more podcasts, getting great guests like Cody and others on, being able to spend a lot more of our time working on our documentaries. I know it's been a few months since the last one came out, but trust me, it goes a long way. We appreciate it, and if you get time, check it out.
Yeah, do it.
Awesome. And any sub tournaments coming up, Cody? Anything that people can look forward to?
Might do a custom stage tournament in the off weekend. I have to see if there's any qualifiers, and if it is, I have to do it on the other day. But I might do that custom stage tournament because the new custom stages are dope. I don't know if you've seen them. They're really, really cool.
I have seen them. I haven't seen them play, and I haven't played on them yet.
They're really cool. I would actually highly recommend, like, just for fun Melee stuff where you don't have to try hard. I think it's super fun.
Yeah. So yeah, you can sub to him, and that sounds like an incredible tournament to just enjoy. I know the last iBDW sub tournament I watched was also a fun one. So I would recommend that. And of course, the big thing is watch Cody win SCL week.
And now we're talking.
There we go.
Now we're talking.
Watch him win SCL week 2.
Thank you for having me on. It was fun.
No, great guest to have on. I
was a
appreciate
blast.
you breaking off a new podcast with us.
Absolutely. Happy to do it anytime.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you for being on, and the viewers, I appreciate you for sticking around. So we are going to see you next week on Waiting for Game, where we can talk about SCL week 2 and whatever else is going to come up. I'm sure in between then and now, Melee is going to have a lot to talk about. All right. See you guys. Peace.
Peace.